March 1st, 2022, I'm watching on the television the Ukraine-Russia crisis. And as I watch it, there's buildings and there's explosions, which I call pyrotechnics. But the television reporter refers to it as airstrikes. AIRSTRIKES. That's confusing because when I watch it with a keen eye, there's no airplane coming overhead dropping whatever they drop. I don't even know the name for it. Is it missiles? Je ne sais pas, non so. I don't know. But it just seems like out of thin air, something's striking or going off in the buildings. So again, I don't know. I mean, I know that I have an untrained whatever, but the linguistical prowess I'm watching, and I'm like, oh no, that's interesting. For an update on how I was cyber and biologically attacked with some airstrike, but not in the sense of like an overhead figurative air projectile. It seems to just be conjured out of thin air. I've had attacks like that here in Empire State, in the state of New York, for quite some time now. And they don't have a place to report it.
As a massive military convoy heads toward the Ukrainian capital.
At civilian level.
Ukrainian military and militias made up of citizen soldiers have put up stiff resistance to Putin's forces, but now the Russians are bringing more for.
And this says Telegram. And it's, here we go. That's the channel, Eyewitness News.
Forced to the fight. ABC senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Kiev with more.
After one of the bloodiest days, bloodiest 24 hours for civilians and soldiers in the country, we're seeing this marked increase in attacks on civilian infrastructure and residential neighborhoods in the country's second largest city of Kharkiv. Incredibly, social media postings are showing this attack coming in.
This is what I'm talking about. He says this, like, there's no, over here, there's no airplane. So how are these going off? Like, that's my level of, what is going on?
Coming in, it looks like some kind of airstrike, potentially a missile launch.
But see, that's what he says. He says airstrike. But doesn't airstrike, isn't that indicative of an aeroplane? And then some figurative physicality that you can tie back the whatever to? It's confusing.
We don't know the details at the moment, but again, of course, people have been killed and injured in these attacks. Meanwhile, we had these talks taking place on the Belarusian-Ukrainian border between the Russians and the Ukrainians. They have agreed to potentially meet again in a few days' time, but no details on what common ground potentially could exist. Meanwhile, more weapons coming in, more refugees fleeing the country, and a real sense here that we're only less than a week into this conflict, and it's going to get worse. Ian Pannell, ABC News, in Kyiv, Ukraine.
In New Jersey, dozens of people gathered last night at a church in Somerset County in support of Ukraine. Governor Murphy at the prayer vigil. He called Russian President Vladimir Putin a thug and expressed his support for the 75,000 Ukrainians who currently live.
This is a confusing story back and forth. I heard today on the television about, from the viewpoint of the people, they are defending their democracy. And then they used a word that Putin is defending, autocracy. I'm standing in a state, an empire state, that somehow was turned, even though the anchors of reality and the anchors of societal expectation on the performance of the staff left on these lands. I mean, there are others that allow democracy to go on as long as certain things are met by autocracy who helps with whatever. But there's a respect level and a funding level, and then there's a level of autonomy of sorts. The problem is that if the children get into trouble, how do they safely flag the parental unit elsewhere without hurting themselves and other people is really a very daunting task. I'm going to fast forward. There's something now called a popular democracy that they're reporting about. I had never even heard about before, but it looks to be one of those aggressive types in getting their message across. I'm going to pause this for a second till I can pull it up. So now in the Empire State, in New York State, while I am still waiting for my agreed upon autocracy, democracy suitor that I will not give up on, this is what they're reporting is going to try in this popular democracy method. That's who he chose as his running mate. Against Kathy Hochul, no less. This Williams, that's the symbol, and it says running mate announcement. I have nothing to do with these people. Not the broadcasters, not the network, not the candidates. I have no idea how they get on a ticket, how they campaign, how they fund themselves, or how they're running anything. Because the humans have left me out of the entire process, and I have no idea how to get myself into a position where I'm not being attacked by their popular democracy in this empire state while I've been held out of the working democracy and autocracy relationship.
Jumaane Williams announced his running mate in his race for New York governor. Williams picking Anna Maria Archila to run for lieutenant governor. Archila is an immigration activist, probably best known for confronting
Immigration activist. That's what they're trying to put on a ticket. I'm citing them as citations for Citadel at the moment, just so the Pirates of the Caribbean and piracy doesn't get their panties in a bunch.
Former Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona in an elevator over his support for then Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. She has led organizations such as Make the Road New York and the Center for Popular Democracy.
Oh, wait, what was that? Hold on.
Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. She has led organizations such as Make the Road New York and the Center for Popular Democracy.
Oh my. I've never heard those words before. I didn't even know that they congregate in popular democracy. That's a problem. Lou and Lynn are regular working class democracy. I am whatever, independent at the moment. But I don't know what a working popular, it sounds like part of the neat and tidy problem that they've got going on on a couple of past administrations and a couple of past executives filling their cupboards and cabinetry with the wrong cups that they drink from. It's about 7 decades now in the wrong direction, or altering whatever. It's felt for sure, though, by my person. And then this morning at Talk of the Table, or the talkers at the table, had a very clear message of what's sitting underneath State of the Union and just above State of the Economy. It was really frightening. I'm going to try to pull that on now. Hang on. So on this citation, CBS Mornings, just above State of the Economy, they're reporting within New York. I'm citing within New York. There's this gentleman, and then there's this pair, and underneath State of the Union within Empire State, this is what it looks like at the moment, or at least what they're reporting to me. Being that I have a headdress in a painting that's in, I believe it's Belgium, Netherlands region, somewhere in Deutschland, for a larger area, whatever. I heard yesterday Zelensky, or President Zelensky, signed something with the EU asking for a no-fly zone. I'm not quite sure what that means in actuality or in figurative, because I don't have a sounding board. This is the closest I have, and it's just trying to puzzle my way through in collecting pieces of citation from Citadel. I mean, I do have Citron in the eye. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken, Speyside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.